Today in the crypto space, we see the market looking nice and green, Bitcoin slightly below that $70,000 mark. However, Ethereum flying to higher levels, up approximately 18% for the day. The rest of the crypto space looking pretty good as well. We have major gainers, of course. However, a few dips. Arweave, Near Protocol, Altcoin coming down to slightly lower levels, but the overall market is deep in the green. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about one project, a project that is looking pretty good at horizontal levels of support, and the question is, are we going to be getting that bounce? So you know what, let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities, whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here. Before we get into the Kujira price, because of course I want to talk about Kujira today, we'll take a look at Bitcoin. We'll take a look at the overall market to get a sense of what's happening. We see that we're getting a lot of volume into the market in the last little while. The altcoins are definitely looking good. However, the market cap is slightly pulling back ever so slightly. However, generally speaking, everything right now is looking pretty good. Prime to continue for sure. However, Bitcoin at resistance. This is the thing. Bitcoin currently is hitting a bit of a resistance level that we've talked about yesterday, and I'll show you that level to show you the TA that we had yesterday marked down, and we're hitting that zone, and it's pretty much at previous highs, more or less. Now, if we start breaking out of the highs, yes, guys, we get into price discovery, we start running. Ethereum, in the meantime, is waiting to keep on going to catch up to Bitcoin. It's been doing great in the last little bit. We've seen Ethereum run up, the altcoins leading the way for the altcoins. Altcoin season, a lot of people are talking about that altcoin season, and we could definitely be there as we see the gains from Ethereum, from the Ethereum ecosystem, basically trickle down into the lower cap projects. And this is what eventually you will see. You will see this, rotation from Ethereum to the lower caps and trickle down into the altcoin market all the way down to the micro caps. And that's when we start seeing that altcoin season effect. Lots of gains, lots of green, days and days upon green. And guys, this is what we're waiting for. We see BNB looking pretty good. We see, of course, anything Ethereum based in the last little while has been doing great. Look at Doge. Toncoin coming down ever so slightly, down 3.2%. Cardano doing okay. However, right now we do see that Toncoin is probably the one that's taking the bigger of the dip, but Toncoin has been doing great in the last little bit. So a pullback, a healthy pullback is something that I will be looking out for, so I can be scaling in a little bit more. We have Near Protocol kind of rolling over a little bit. This sideways, type of planking sideways price action is not always the greatest look. It gives us an opportunity to potentially wait for a bit of a dip before we can, buy and then maybe continue to the upside. We do have a potential volume gap below that we could take a look at. Near Protocol, I'm bullish. Regardless of a short-term dip, I'm still bullish. Ultimately has been doing really good, and even though, for example, even using Chainlink as an example, Chainlink right now is planking going sideways, but Chainlink has been doing decently. It's up 28% for the 7 days. Look at Uniswap, it might go sideways a little bit for a bit, maybe get a bit of a retracement to up 37%, and the list goes on, guys. We have a lot of bullishness. Just keep in mind that if a project has ran really hard, it did leave volume gaps below, and that means that there's weak spots for the price to fall right through again on the retracement. Okay, so just keep that in mind. We have a lot of good projects. We have Render at the top of the range. Do we see Render breaking out of the top, continuing to the upside? We have Aptos going for a higher high, looking pretty good. We have a lot of Renzo staked ETH all of a sudden is making its move 16.5% to the upside, of course, based on the ETH narrative. We have Filecoin looking for that bull flag, maybe another continuation, another leg up, and the list goes on, guys. You can see this. Generally speaking, the market is in green. Now, there's not a clear range. Some projects are up 16 based on the Ethereum narrative. Some of them are up only about 5%. more or less. We have Arweave pulling back approximately 9%, but we know that Arweave, is due for a break. It has done a really good job in the last little bit running to the upside. So taking a bit of a short-term break in the meantime is totally fine. However, maybe we should be prepared to buy the dip, especially if you're on the sidelines, right? It's a bullish project. Arweave is bullish. Definitely, it is a big market cap. All of a sudden, we're looking at almost $3 billion market cap, which is a pretty big one, right? So yeah, you could make some good gains, but don't make sure you understand it's not going to make you life-changing gains, especially if your position size is small. Let's continue going down. Theta Network doing well in the last little bit. Phantom rolling over a little bit. Phantom has been doing awesome. I expect continuations to the upside eventually for Phantom, but in the short term, maybe a bit of a pullback. We've seen it kind of consolidate in the last little bit. So just understand that sometimes the party does need to end. And it doesn't mean that it's going to be ending forever. It just means that it's taking a break. It's giving an opportunity for other projects to kind of get in there and start pumping. So that's what we want to kind of see. We have Tia Celestia doing okay, up 6%, and the market continues. You can see Aave doing good. Quant still planking at $100, guys. So be it. That's where Quant's going to be. That's where it's going to stay, and don't expect it to move in the immediate short term until we do get indications of that happening. No matter who tells you what, if it has a history of going sideways, until it actually gives us confirmations of actually breaking out, guys, we can't really get super bullish here for projects like Quant. Okay, so that's that. Athena doing pretty good, 12% to the upside, and the market is looking pretty good. Okay, so just generally speaking, guys, the market's still running. We have a lot of good projects moving. I would be waiting for a good horizontal support levels, but as we get into this very bullish stance, don't expect those retracements, number one, to be super deep, and number two, to last very long. Okay, so we got to be quick on our buy orders, be quick on our feet to find those opportunities. And of course, join me live tonight at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. And we'll definitely be looking for great setups for the up and coming bull run. All right, guys, I know you're here to talk about charts. Let's begin looking at Bitcoin. What's going on here with Bitcoin? Bitcoin at the current moment is getting a bit of a rejection. Guys, we identified this top yesterday. Multiple times we talked about this potential range. This was my range. This is where I anticipated a nice bounce, which we got perfectly. We timed it perfectly here on the channel. Congrats if you were able to get into some solid positions across the market. Now, what do we see? We see Bitcoin hitting a wall of resistance. Let's look at this in a little bit of detail. Now, generally speaking, it's not really that this is a level to really watch out for. I'm just saying that this is the level where people will de-risk, which means that people understand that you're hitting previous highs, and it would be safe to say, let me take a bit of profit just in case the price decides to roll over. And then where do we start looking for horizontal supports? To be honest, we're about halfway there where we start to look for support zones, which is out of the point of control. This horizontal, the previous low right here, this previous consolidation before we expanded, that would be a level. We're about 50% there already on this short-term retracement. The thing is that right now we're very bullish, particularly with the altcoin market. We have the news coming out with Ethereum and their ETF that it could be around the corner. There's a higher probability than expected that we do get that Ethereum ETF. And if that happens, we're expecting some of the capital to flow in from Bitcoin into the altcoin market, beginning with Ethereum. And that usually is how we spike a bull run, an altcoin season, right? So this could be that distribution. This could be that rotation from Bitcoin to Ethereum that we wait for an altcoin season. Now, what's going to be happening here for Bitcoin? The ideal scenario here for Bitcoin is for it to consolidate from about 32,000, more or less where it is, its current top, to about, I would say, 67, more or less, right? It wants to kind of go sideways here. I would like it to create a nice bull flag right into here. And usually what happens, and of course this will it could take up to a week, or even if not, maybe a little longer, right? As it is happening, you can expect that every little bounce to the upside as it's going sideways, the altcoins will take full advantage, and we will see the altcoins run, and that could give us the altcoin season. Now, of course, we could still come down to the bottom of the range. We could still come back down to about 61,300 range bound price action. You got to keep in mind that that's very possible, and we could also make it very possible that we can break below the range, as we have done in the past, and come down for a lower low and hit about 52. But until we do that, I have to remain bullish in the sense, in the short term, I see this pullback. It could come down to about 66, 67 again. again, like I said. But at the end of the day, guys, let's be patient here, because this is just a reaction based off of previous highs, people de-risking, taking a bit of profit, because I'm assuming that there's a lot of profitable individuals at the current moment. So just keep that in mind. Right now, Bitcoin, in my opinion, is in a no trade zone. I wouldn't be shorting this. I would be prepared for a bottom, a short-term bottom, to see if we can buy a few little dips, especially in the altcoin market. Get in on those altcoins before the season starts, because then the train is going to leave the station and then it's too late. We still have the momentum still moving upwards. We're still overbought in the volatility, and as the momentum treks to the upside in overbought conditions, I'm expecting a continuation to the upside. The trend is looking really good. EMAs are facing up, green histogram bars, and we got the purple expansion to the upside, giving us confluence that yes, we are continuing to the upside without much weakness. We got a bullish divergence with that green dot, giving us a lot of confluence very early on into this run, into this pop to the upside. So I'm very, very happy with the performance of this indicator, guys. If you want to know more about the indicator, join the Discord. I have a channel just dedicated towards it, so you can get that info if you need it. All right, guys, let's move on. Let's take a look at today's project. I want to take a look at KUJI. Kujira is the project. At the end of the day, Kujira is showing a lot of strength here at the bottom, and I appreciate its level of horizontal support. And the reason being is because it's pretty critical, right? This is where you want to, potentially say, if I'm going to take a chance, this is where it's at. Now, we did fall through the volume gap. This is identified very early on. We identified that, look, we have these bottoms, this bottom. We have the 200 daily that could act as support right around here. And guess what? We fell right through this empty zone. In fact, we filled it up just a little bit. A bit of price action right into here. We got a spike of volume and all that. But the reality is, this was a lot more empty before the price action fell through the volume gap, but we did fall. So if you DCA'd here, fine. That's a great risk to reward ratio opportunity, because ultimately you could have put a stop loss underneath the horizontal and just stopped yourself out. However, if you decided to DCA, this is your next area to DCA. And the reason why I feel this is better than even up here, because up here, if you think about it, if you look at the price action when we were right here, we were entering the oversold state in the momentum. We weren't actually there just yet. But guess what? At this current moment, not only are we there in oversold conditions, but we're getting class A bullish divergence. So let me show you what that means. Let me zoom in just here a little bit so we can see this in a little bit more detail. And you can see that as we are coming down with this price action, with this double bottom, hitting horizontal supports, lots of volume right into here, okay? This is very, very important, critical level here for Kujira. And if we continue looking at what's happening with the momentum, we can see that the momentum, in fact, is moving to the upside. This is the wrong tool. Let's get the right one going here. We get this guy right here, and we can kind of push a line right through, and you can kind of see that the momentum, the purple line, is making a higher low. Now, what about the expansion? The expansion as well. Look at the red waves, the red expansion waves. They are definitely making a higher low. So we're getting higher lows on the expansion, higher lows on the momentum. Now, what about volatility? The only thing that concerns me about volatility, which is the orange line, is that the orange line right now is overbought. And it would be nice to trade the orange line as it moves in the same direction as the purple. So let this orange line come right down, and then we'll go long again alongside the purple. Now, the only thing that I want to leave there, just so that you understand, is that we can stay overbought for a good while with regards to volatility, as we have done in the past. And if you go look at what happened here, this is where we start to get the major expansions to the upside. As the momentum is moving up, we are also getting an impulse in volatility to the upside. So basically, this is what we want to watch out for. Now, could we stay up overbought right into this level and eventually see the momentum continue moving up? It's very, very possible. But entering positions at this current moment, you need to keep in mind that we could come down for a test of the lows again and hit around this zone and DCA right around this area because of the volatility being overbought. Personally speaking, based on what I see with altcoins and what I see with the general market, we could see projects like Kujira do very well in the next little while. So I would be DCAing. I would be looking for buy the dip opportunities across the market. Now, this could definitely be a descending wedge. This could eventually wedge out and even come down through this volume gap, which is at about $1.15, about $1, right around this level. I think it's very possible that we could even get support at $1.15 or $1.30, right around this top of the volume gap on this little gap that we got right down here. Now, what should we do? I think the best bet is to DCA. Let's look at the momentum. Let's look at the trend. The trend, at the end of the day, if you look at this indicator, which is the multi-trend indicator here, we're getting bullish divergence everywhere, multiple drives of it for that matter. We also got some green dots giving us confluence. We're getting the EMAs pushing up. We get the EMAs open pushing up with green histogram bars pointing to the upside, which is looking really, really good. So not only are we getting class A bullish divergence on the momentum, we're getting class A bullish divergence on the trend, and we are also at very critical levels of horizontal support. Again, price action is king, right? We have to keep in mind that the price action is king, but when you get the momentum oscillators and you get everything else in confluence, it's not bad. Like again, the volume, we do have a bit of a gap here that we got to watch out for, as you can see. But as we are getting divergence and as we see the rest of the market giving us an indication that we could be popping to the upside, maybe all this volume right here, as you can see it, could act as horizontal support where we eventually pivot to the upside and turn this descending type of wedge into a setup where we can expect a break to the upside. So this is what we're watching out for. We can elongate this a little bit more, and you can see as we kind of pen it down, as we get closer to the apex, we could potentially come down a little bit more. But honestly, I would be keeping this on a watch list. At any moment now, we could definitely get that break of trend, which you can see we do have a nice diagonal trend right here. We can break the trend, get a bit of a run up, back test confirmation low, higher low, get that thing going and start rolling to the upside. And guess what we have above? Lots of empty space to get the price to much higher levels. I would be looking to de-risk right here. I'm going to make this red so that we understand, right? This is a place to de-risk, of course. And then of course, once we keep on going, we do have some volume up here to act as resistance. That's why I would say de-risk right around here, because we got these lows and all these lows right here and all this volume. But once we break above that volume, we got to look for these extension levels, the 1.27, the 1.618, and all that good stuff, and definitely good bullish price targets to the upside. So you're not buying the tops, you're buying a decent retracement here on Kuji. Let's look at Fibonacci retracements. Sorry guys, I know let me get this all the way to the top and we'll kind of take a look at what kind of retracement we're at right now. Guys, we're pretty much at the 786 retracement. That's a deep retracement. You know, we almost came down to the 886 for that matter, right? We could still come down to the 886, but this is the zone where a lot of traders, based on their trading strategy, like to buy dips. 786, 886 retracements pose the best risk to reward ratio opportunities. Down here at the bottoms where you know that you have the previous local bottom, the previous bear market bottom, all the way down here with the majority of the supply and demand right into the zone, slightly around that $1 mark. Guys, this is a good opportunity to DCA. Calculate your risk, figure out where you feel it's ideal to take risk, because eventually you're gonna have to take a bit of risk in order to profit in this market. All right guys, if I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a massive favor and slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join the Discord, guys. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. Take care, guys. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.